what do you think is the most significant thing you've learned from film school?
What a good question. This is the most significant thing I've learned from film
Like
school.
something that just you think personally pushed you to like the next level.
It's a good question. I'm going to stall briefly and say that it's been I actually know the answer, and I think it's sadly not one solidified thing, but it's just I've learned way more from paying attention to teachers than I have the instructions of the class. So in other words, like there's been times where they've been like, hey, this is how social etiquette is, or this is how just anything like that, and I think that just all those little crumbs that have been dropping off. So
for sure.
I wish that manifests into some like holistic idea that I could really present, but I think it's just that general paying attention to the granular and then and enhancing just your skill across the board.
Like the tidbits from the teachers are way more valuable than
they are.
Then I think people realize.
A lot of gems.
Yeah. No, not yet. I feel that to other people. I wish I had a bigger idea to represent that. But yeah.
Gordon, you got something for that?
What was the question again?
What do you think is the most significant thing you've learned in film school? Something that pushed you to the next level of filmmaker.
I mean, it sounds cheesy, I think, but like the power of teamwork. You know, because obviously going into this, like a film is a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Right, but
Not
your
obviously.
idea or your
Not
piece.
everybody knows it's a collaborative effort. Or
I hope everyone at this table does, Cruz.
That's true.
I'll do up after this show.
Because like you can be the writer, the director. Yeah, you think that you might have the starring or a huge piece of it, but like as important as your piece might be, there are 15, 20, 30 other pieces that are just as important as yours to make it come together in a coherent, good, artsy, however you want to put it. A solid film is always going to be a collaborative effort where everyone is pulling. At least I would like to think.
Yeah, because you notice when it's not firing on all cylinders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And just one. I mean, so if the sound's off, bad. The editing's off, bad. If one actor can't hold their weight, bad. If the directing's off, all these different things. If the lighting guy, if something's off, diminishes the product.
A lot of linchpins for sure.
What was that?
A lot of linchpins, like a lot of just ways for it to unravel.
Yeah.
Okay. What's up? Oh, true. Your stuff is full.
Yeah. Listen to the producer.
I would say one of the biggest things, and I'm kind of newer than I think everyone here, but one of the biggest things I've learned so far is time and time management. And like you said, some of the professors, they drop gems. Like one of my professors, they were like, however long you think you're going to be shooting a film or whatever, give yourself 3 times as much to rehearse and prepare. So, and I think just preparing, time management, and budget, all those things is like just are super valuable, because you're going to always wish you had more time. You're going to always wish you got that shot, So I think just from the stuff we've done in class, my own stuff, one of the biggest just like lessons is time, man. Learn how to use your time.
Oh yeah. I think, what was that? How long was it that Peter Jackson was working on storyboarding for Lord of the Rings? Wasn't it like 5 years? 5 years to shoot all 3 Lord of the Rings back to back to back.
It's
even
crazy.
The production for that was like 1 whole year, just like before they even touched set.
Yep.
There was a lot of
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
rigorous process.
and this is money you're spending, movie. This isn't cheap. So like when you're on a time schedule, when you're renting out a studio, you're outside, or
you be
working with a crew,
on it.
Let's be on it.
When you were saying time too, I have like a different, I guess, like extrapolation from that, which is, I didn't realize. I think when you have another 9 to 5, it's pretty obvious. Like when you get off work, it's you. But when you were talking about time now, like you can do anything in your off time as far as coming to film. And so if you're not if you're not shooting your own stuff, getting your own reps, I realized that I think it's a 24/7 job, and I didn't know that coming into it.
Yeah, it is. Like even just starting off, you know what I mean? You want to it's hard because you work on a project and you don't know when you're going to start working again. So like in between that time, you're really still like working, you're still trying, You're
thinking of ideas while you're in the shower.
Exactly.
Like you're always working on it.
Literally, and that's just one of the biggest things I've definitely learned.
Yeah.
Cruz, what about you, my man?
I'd say containing my ideas. We'll go back to Godzilla, right? It's a big film.
Everything can be traced back to
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Godzilla is the Lizard King.
Yeah.
Like, I always been big for me. So all my stories have always been like grandiose or just big. And now I've been learning how to contain them, how to keep them in one setting, how to do something on a smaller scale. Because
I'm glad you said that.
I'm an independent filmmaker with no budget, nobody right now giving me the money to do something. So now I got to figure out, how can I do this for free? How can I use the resources to do that? And what story makes sense? I can't make a Godzilla film with no money, right? I need millions of dollars. So I need to find something that can help me get to where I want to get there. So
I'll just say one thing really fast. I'm glad you said that because I was the same way. Like, big ideas, but like keeping it simple is almost hard. How can I make something
hard.
simple, interesting as fuck? You know, but it's also fun. You start to like really dig into that. So like I agree 100% with that too.
That's kind of the magic of it, though. I think is if you can learn how to craft a good tale and make it look
Exactly.
good, a simple one like that, then
Exactly.
then you can do the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
Agreed.
then that shows you have talent for
Yeah.
it, right? Having an eye for it. I don't know.
I think for me, you know, honestly, basically what you're saying, maybe just adding a little bit more on it, is just specifically finding interest in simple things. You know, being able to make a simple conversation between two people turn into like the most intense scene. You know, I think
It's an art to that, man.
yeah, exactly. And I just going off that, I think for me the biggest thing I learned was just the audience needs to feel something. You need to feel something when they're watching. You know, you can't
just be watching people.
You can't just be watching, and you know, it's like kind of interesting, kind of not. Even if it is like super interesting, like you need to. There needs to be some sort of emotion, whether it's happy, whether it's sad. If your audience doesn't feel anything at all, it's not going to stick with them. Because even if they liked your ending or they didn't like your ending, if they're still talking about it 2 months after the film was watched, then you did a good job.
Yeah.
That's why even some of those like classic B movies, like The Room or something like that, where it's like a terrible movie, but people enjoy watching.
Exactly.
You know, like they laugh at it, they feel
Interesting.
something.
Exactly.
It's like, if your film can make somebody feel something or just not be bored.
wait, like the Room, like Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's still in theaters, dude. It's
I
been
know,
20 years.
I know.
There's a reason for it. Is people really like watching the movie for whatever reason. I mean, it's a piece of
I
shit.
would even, I would like to say, like, also, like, because we talk, like, a lot of filmmakers, like, we were talking about Nolan earlier, who, like, a lot of people call realistic and grounded, but, like, when you really start to see behind the scenes of, like, filmmaking, there is no realism. You do what you do to make the audience feel something. So, like, movies have their own rules entirely. It's not always about, oh, this is how it is in real life. Because in real life, you know, on the screen, I'm not going to feel that. You have to show me on the screen why that matters, why this is important, why am I listening to this, you know? So
It's gotta be a purpose thing.
yeah, like even if you're making a realistic, quote unquote, realistic movie, when you're making it, you can't adhere to what real is. You have to, it's a movie, you know? So how is what you're doing going to make me feel something when I'm watching it?
And realistic or not, too, no matter what you're making, there always has to be some sense of relatability.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to grab emotion from a character if you're looking at a character and you're like, he's me.
Yeah.
You know? That's me.
Definitely.
That's my sister.
Definitely.
Like that's my life.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I've been really trying to crack like the whole code of telling like human stories, even with like big ideas, like even with the Avengers and Captain America movies or Marvel and DC movies, like they're still underneath that, they're a human movie. Like they're trying to find something that we can relate to. They're trying to do something that we can relate to, you know, like finding love, finding success, finding things like those are, when you break it down.
Being a good person.
Exactly. When you break it down, those are easily things we all relate to. Just trying to be the best you can be, you know?
I think that's a universal thing in all like good art.
Yeah.
It's like you view it, you listen to it, or whatever. You feel a little bit more human seeing it, and that you see the humanity in others, and there's a connective force into it that kind of.
Agreed.
You see a good movie, you feel something watching other people portray these human emotions, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and everything. It gives you a little bit broader, I don't know, perspective or understanding, whatever. It makes you feel a little bit more alive watching that. Any good piece of art should make you feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
For me, that was Matthew Broderick and Godzilla.